everyone, and welcome to the Queen Thing. I am Gina Umuna, and I'll be talking about the character of the Queen today. Now, before I start, let me make this clear. Every woman is a queen and has potential to wear a crown. So it's important that you note that every woman is born to be a queen, and you have the potential to wear a crown. Okay? So, but today we're going to be studying two queens in the Bible. We're going to find out what made a particular queen to stand out amongst the others. Okay, so we're going to be looking at, first and foremost, we're going to be looking at their similarities, okay? Because for these ladies to become queen, that means they had something in common. So we'll start with looking at that first. Now, first, we're looking at Queen Vashti and Queen Esther. It was recorded in the Bible that Queen Vashti is a very beautiful woman, and so also it's recorded that Esther too is a beautiful woman. So you can see that these ladies have something in common. We're both beautiful, okay? So every lady is beautiful, you're a queen. Now, secondly, too, it was recorded that Esther, when the king was looking for a bride, he said they should go into all the provinces and look for virgins. So it is a thing of honor for every king to want to marry a virgin. So before you even become qualified to become a king's bride, you must be a virgin. Okay, so that concludes that Queen Vashti is a virgin as much as Esther was a virgin. So these two things I just pointed out were the similarities that they had. So Queen Vashti was not entirely a terrible person, right? You see it today. But because of some things that she failed to do, because of some things the Bible calls it the little cost that destroyed the man, because of some things she refused to handle, that's alone made her, to be disqualified. NLT said she was disposed of her position. Okay, so we're going to be looking at the character of the queen. The character of the queen. That those things, those traits that will separate you, those traits that will make you stand out. Okay, that's what we're looking at today. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is what the Bible calls a meek and a quiet spirit. A meek and a quiet spirit. If you go to 1 Peter chapter 3, the Bible talks about it there. It said, okay, your appearance as a woman should not just be about the fancy things you wear, about the jewelry, the makeup, your hair, and all of that. It is also, it's important that you have this meek and a quiet spirit, this gentle spirit that comes from within. Okay, and this one spirit that Esther had and Queen Vashti didn't have it. Why? Because when the king had a party, he was enjoying with his friends, and they had this party going on, and he told his guards, he told the people who were working with him to go and bring his wife. Remember, Queen Vashti was a very beautiful woman. So the king has this thing of, always wanting to parade his wife. When you have a beautiful wife, you're so proud of her. So he wanted to, we'll use our words, saying, he wanted to pose with his wife. And he sent some persons to go and call her. And what happened? Queen Vashti told them to their face that she wasn't going to come because she had other things that she was doing. Now, first and foremost, the Bible recorded that the king was drunk. So on a normal day, you can say Queen Vashti didn't want to, come in the presence of drunken men and to start parading herself and all of that. But there was an order that was given by the queen, which is a higher authority to her. So that's where the meek and the quiet spirit comes in. You know what meekness means? It means strength under control. It means I have the ability to turn you down when I want to. I have the ability to say no, but I'm putting it under control. I'm not just going to face you and say no to you. I put it under control. So that was one thing that Vashti didn't do. And that alone upsets the king. And not only the king, the other persons around him, the princes around him and all of that. Remember, this king was a very great man. The Bible recorded that he was king from India to Ethiopia. So you can imagine, how vast and how vast his kingdom is, or his kingdom was. So just for you to have a woman to turn you down publicly, so that angered the king a lot, and his people suggested, no, we don't need this woman to teach young ladies, how to disrespect their husband. So let's throw away with her and get another queen. So what happened was that single act alone disqualified Vashti from the throne. Now, let's look at what Esther did when she had not so similar case, but when she had a case. Now, it was recorded that Haman was going to destroy the Jews, and Esther was a Jew. So what happened was that her uncle Mordecai told her, this is what is going to happen. And what did she do? Instead of she to go straight to the king and start crying and begging the king to see see what you can do. What did she do? She called her maidens and told them, let's go and pray and fast. Let's take out time to pray and fast. I know that I can't enter into the king's chamber until he tells me to go. But right now there's an emergency, I need to go to the king's chamber. But I'm not just going to go like that. I'm going to spend time to seek the face of God. I'm going to spend time to find out what, their direction for God. And that was exactly what she did. She went out with her maiden and she took out 3 days and fasted and prayed and got direction. And the Bible recorded that she came into the chamber of the king, which is not supposed to be done. And but the king appreciated her and welcomed her. So you can see that as a queen, this meek and quiet lady is something that you cannot joke with. As a woman, remember every woman is free. So as a woman, it should be your desire to build yourself to get to the point where you are meek and you are quiet. It's not everything you should respond to. It's not everything you should want to learn about. Sometimes you just let it go. Have self-control. Believe in yourself. Know that I'm going to take the right decision. Sometimes you don't need to say what you want to say at that point. You can say it after a while when you're not angry anymore and all that. We'll see what this did to Queen Vashti. Secondly, too, another thing I want us to point out is that Esther was a woman of the spirit compared to Queen Vashti. She was a woman of the spirit. Remember when she had to meet the king, she didn't just go fleshy. She would have just gone and just tried to use her woman power, probably touch the king 1 or 2 places and start telling the king what she wants. But she didn't do that. She first of all went down on her knees. She first of all spent time to pray to God. She took out time to fast with her maidens to find out what God wanted her to do. So one of the qualities of a queen that every woman needs to know or needs to imbibe is the quality of the spirit-filled woman. Don't take decisions out of the flesh. Don't take decisions because you have the ability to take the decisions. Just go to God. Sometimes when you have to take the decisions, go to God and find out, God, what should I do? There's a case before me. What should I do? How should I handle it? Amen. Okay, thirdly, Esther was a wise woman. Esther was a wise woman compared to Vashti. Okay, now Vashti knew that her friends were there, the princes were there, people were there. Okay, for that reason alone, she would have just obeyed her husband at that point. But no, she was too concerned in showing, her abilities, showing herself, and she refused to, listen to the king's command. But what happened to Esther? Why did I say Esther was a wise woman? Now, when Esther came into the king's chamber after she had prayed and fasted and waited on the Lord and got direction. Now, remember, no woman is supposed to come into the king's chamber unless he sent her. But that day, she put on her royal robe and decided to go to the king's chamber. She knew that she wasn't functioning in the room. And when she got into the king's chamber, she was too beautiful to look up. But the king saw her and he was, wow. He was like, honey. And he said to her, what do you want? Anything, just name it. Even if it's half of my kingdom, I'll give it to you. And you know why I say Esther was spicy? Like every other woman. Like there's a woman in the Bible that was recorded that she had this kind of opportunity. And what did she do with it? She asked for the head of the prophet. But like every other woman will do, when you have that kind of the opening of your husband, when your husband is asking you, what do you want? King Ahasuerus said to Esther, what do you want me to do? Even if it's half of my kingdom, I'll give it to you. Now, if Queen Vashti maybe that had that sort of opportunity, or any other woman, if you say I want the head of Haman, it's not. Because Haman is the one who is trying to destroy her people, who is trying to destroy the Jews. And it was because of Haman she took the fast, she prayed and all of that. Now she has an open check. But no, Esther is a woman that understands strength under control. So what did she do? She said, invite Haman to the banquet. Invite him to come and marry me, come and celebrate with us. Remember, Esther was a Jew, but a lot of people didn't do it because her uncle Mordecai told her not to do it. So they didn't know she was a Jew. So she told the king that he should invite her enemy, the person who wants her to die, the person who wants to destroy. She had an entire family and an entire people. She invited him to the banquet. How many ladies will do that? I'm sure a lot of us, when we have a kind of opportunity, we want to do that. We want to show you, I will show you who I am. I will let you know that I'm the queen. I will let you know that I'm the one bringing this game. But she didn't do that. So that's one thing that we need to learn. That's something that, we need to pick out from these ladies. The character I've talked about meekness, strength under control. I've talked about a woman of prayer, a woman of the spirit. Don't just wake up and start taking decisions. make sure that whatever decision you want to take, you first and foremost go to God and find and get directions. And secondly, be a wise woman. Sometimes, issues will come to you. Sometimes you need to do some things. Be wise. Understand what to do. Understand when to say no. Understand when to say yes. Okay. Now, lastly, I'm also going to talk about another character. Now, yes, we talked about First Peter chapter 3, when the Bible recorded that your ornament should not be about your physical appearance. Now, the Bible is not totally wiping out your physical appearance. What he's saying, what the Bible is saying there is that you should not be focused so much on your physical appearance. Because you know what physical appearance will do for you? It will open doors. Oh, this girl is beautiful. You get to somewhere. But do you know what will sustain you? Is that thing that you have inside of you. So the Bible was advising women that as much as you're paying attention to your physical appearance, you should also pay attention to your spiritual, your inner appearance. That's inner person. Okay, because that's what will sustain you. That's what will keep you. Do you know what happened to Vashti? The Bible recorded that when they had this party, it was the 3rd year of King Ahasuerus' reign. So she had just reigned. Let me assume that she had just reigned for 3 years or even less. But the thing is that Vashti had an opportunity to reign as much as 20 years, 30 years to the end of King Ahasuerus' reign. But she cut it short because of her character. Now, Queen Esther was the one who enjoyed that privilege, also because of her character. Now, lastly, I'm going to also talk about packaging. Now, we're not ruling out packaging for people. We're not saying, oh, because I'm a spirit woman, so I can just dress anyhow, I can just look anyhow. Okay? It's important that you notice that your packaging also is important. As much as you're building your inward self, you should also be able to package your outward self. Okay? Because when someone sees you from afar, the first thing they need to see is how you appear, what you look like. Okay, so the queen knows how to package herself. Now, if you look at that story of Esther, when Esther was going to come into the king's chamber, she was sad because her people were about to be destroyed. But she didn't look anyhow. The Bible says she put on her royal robe. She had this courage of the king, of the queen rather. She had this courage. She put on her royal robe. She was looking beautiful. She was looking like the queen that she was. Now, when she came into the chambers of the king saw her and he was proud. So some of us maybe, we want to get married, we want a lot of things. You're going out on the first day, you're wearing a bathroom slipper, or you're wearing a small jean, or you're looking funny. You're going out on the first day, someone will be listening to your sister. So it is also important that as a queen, we learn how to package yourself. Package yourself in a way that when you are dressed as you come out, not every kind of person can touch you. Remember that you're a queen. The only people who can address you, the only people who should come close to you are people who also know that they are kings. So don't get yourself to the point where you dress cheaply, you dress, indecent to the point where you expose yourself to every and any kind of person. So I'm going to round up with this. Look at these 2 queens. I'm sure growing up they didn't know that they were going to have this kind of opportunity. I'm sure they didn't see this coming. But someday, somehow, they both became queens. They both wore the crown on their head. But what happened at the end of the day? One lost the throne and the other reigned forever. Now, what am I saying? A lot of us now, I don't know what your situation, I don't know what your level is. There are things that God has designed for you. There are things that God has packaged for you. So it is important that since you know that you're a queen, it's important that you start working on yourself. You start building your character. You start building your capacity to the point that so that when you come to the point where you get to the peak of your life, you become a king or whatever it is, whatever position you occupy, that character traits that you built inside of you will begin to announce you, will make people to like you. Because see someone like Esther, she stood out. Everyone liked her. From the person who was supposed to take care of her, during when they were preparing them, to the least person, everybody liked her. So it is important that, we, as much as we want to be beautiful, we know that character is what sustains. There's something else about Queen Esther that I didn't point out. Let me point it out now. Esther was purpose-driven too. She was purpose-driven. She understood, at some point, her uncle told her, look, you don't know that it's for this kind of time that God has put you in this position. So she got to a point where she said, I'm going to make sure that my people are not destroyed. If I perish, I perish. I don't care. That was the kind of attitude qualities that Vashti didn't have. Vashti was so concerned about her parents, she was so concerned about her personality, she was so concerned about what people will say about her and all of that. But Queen Esther wasn't concerned about that. When it got to the point where she needed to fulfill her purpose, she was ready to die for it. She was ready to die for it. So as a queen, it's also important that you understand your purpose. The Bible says in Proverbs that beauty is deceitful, it's vain. But a woman who fears the Lord, she shall be praised. A woman who fears the Lord, a woman who is walking the path of God, she shall be praised. Now I want to encourage every woman today. No matter what it is, no matter who you are, no matter what your situation is, no matter how old you are, you never can tell when God wants to announce you. It might just be next week, it might be today, it might be tomorrow. And when God comes to announce you, what will happen? Which of the queens will you be? Queen Vashti or Queen Esther? So it's important that if you have made up your mind that you're going to be Queen Vashti, that's good for you. But I pity because you're going to reign, you might not even have the opportunity to do it. But if you make up your mind that you're going to be Queen Esther, then you have so much more to do. You have to start building that character. You have to become weak. You have to become quiet. You have to be purpose driven. You have to be a woman of the spirit. It's not every time flesh decision. It's not every time you're in the flesh. You have to make out time to see God's plan and God's purpose in your life. And you have to be a woman of wisdom. When you open your mouth to speak, let people be encouraged by your word. When you open your mouth to speak, let people have so much they need to know. Wow, I hope you've learned something today. Okay? And I want to encourage everyone of us to take our time to go and read the book of Esther. There's so much you're going to learn from that book. There's so much you're going to draw out from. There's so much when you read from the first chapter of Esther to the last chapter. It's full of so much that we need to learn. So I want to encourage every lady, whether you're married or single, to go and read that book. And I'm sure that you'll like it. Thank you for being part of the community. God bless you.